Hello YouTube, thank you for clicking on my channel. I know that it's not Halloween, but I have a very scary story to tell about monsters that walk among us. Now I am going to be reading this article from the it's a local Houston news website, Click T Houston, and this is how the story goes. It scared the hell out of me. A woman was sentenced to 40 years in prison after beating her 5-year-old daughter to death with a belt and lying about it, according to Harris County District Attorney Kim Ogg. Andrea Webb, 24, was found guilty in September for the first-degree felony of injury to a child. In 2019, Webb called police and told them her daughter, Samantha Bell, fell from the family's second-story apartment balcony in southwest Houston, according to prosecutors. During the investigation, police found that Samantha suffered from bruises all over her body. When Webb was asked about the bruises, she admitted she lied and made up the story because she was scared that she would be charged with murder, prosecutors said. Webb also admitted that she repeatedly beat her daughter with belts and made her sit against the wall without support of a chair for hours at a time, and would beat her if she could not do the wall sits, according to prosecutors. It was revealed that Samantha had died from a constellation of old and new blunt force injuries, including patterned and looped scars, contusions, and lacerations that resulted in pulmonary fat embolism, acute kidney injury, and evidence of systematic stress response, according to Assistant District Attorney Gilbert Sawtell, who prosecuted the case and is the chief in the DA's Child Fatality Section. The little girl's body just couldn't take it anymore, Sawtell said. Webb and her boyfriend, Devin Gibson, were both arrested. The boyfriend's case is still pending, according to the DA's office. Children are the most vulnerable and most innocent victims that we see in the criminal justice system, and a parent's duty is to protect them, not violently beat them, Ogg said. So I came across this article, and when I read it, I was just heartbroken. And I'm sick and tired of being heartbroken over news stories of children being killed because they're being abused to death by their parents. So in Houston, Texas, the district attorney's office has a special department specifically for child fatalities. This woman, Andrea Webb, 24 years old, beat her beautiful little girl to death. For what? Why? What's wrong with you? And that this is something that the child has been enduring for a while, possibly her whole entire life. I don't know if the child went to school. I don't know if people saw these bruises on her and tried to bring attention to it. I don't know if everybody was just trying to look the other way. I don't know, because the article is quite brief, and I could have dug around a lot deeper to see if anyone had ever known, if she was ever reported to the authorities before, was CPS ever involved? I don't know. But what could possess a woman to beat her own child? I mean, some people could not even beat a wild, stray animal like that. Why would you do that to a human being? And why would you do that to your own child? The Houston District Attorney's Office, or the Harris County District Attorney's Office, has a special unit just for child fatalities. That right there shocked me. The mother, Andrea Webb, gets 40 years in prison for taking the life of her own child. That to me is just so unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable, because there's always the possibility of early release. There's going to be some loophole in the law that's going to probably allow her to be released early. Absolutely unacceptable. I think there should be special laws for people, special punishments for people who kill their own children, especially if the child is under the age of 10. There should be special circumstances for those types of cases. It's just so, I mean, it's absolutely blows my mind that this beautiful baby was forced to live with her monster every day, lived in fear, probably, possibly. Sometimes I wish that we could just outlaw. Now, this is not corporal punishment. This is straight up murder. This is not corporal punishment. But sometimes I wish that we could just completely outlaw corporal punishment, because I don't think that some people know what the limit is. Some people probably think it's okay just to pop your kid on the bottom. Some people think it's okay just to pop them on the hand. Some people think it's okay to slap the hell out of your child. Some people think it's okay to beat them and hit them with sticks and branches and belts and extension cords. Some people think it's okay just to grab whatever's close to you and beat your child with it. Because there's a lot of people that don't know what the limit is, because it's different for everybody. It's subjective to everybody, because what's corporal punishment to me may not be what you consider corporal punishment. You might think it's okay to pick up a brick and throw it at your kid, or to take an extension cord and whip them until there's welts all over their body. Some people might think, okay, popping them on the bottom is too much. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people just don't know what the limit is. Sometimes I wish that we could just outlaw it altogether, not even make it an option. Like, you cannot, because the things that people do to children that's probably within the realms of what's legal as far as corporal punishment. If you did that to an adult, you'd be arrested. If I slapped you, I would be arrested. I don't understand why things that can be done to an adult can result in punishment, but that same thing can be done to a child and it's perfectly okay under the guise of corporal punishment. Now, like I said, I'm not saying that Andrea Webb was disciplining her child when she was beating her child to death with a belt. I'm not saying that's what she was, maybe in her mind, that's what she was trying to do, but obviously that's not what it was. This was assault that led to the death. She murdered her kid. She killed her kid. She murdered her child for whatever reason. It breaks my heart that as I speak right now, there are hundreds of thousands of children who are living with their monsters and have no way out. These children are trapped. And let's say CPS was involved. What could have happened? Because I think the family courts, what they try to do is they try to make sure that somehow or another the family stays intact. Sending children off to foster homes and all of that, I think is kind of looked down upon, because foster homes, some of them may not be the best. So they take the kid away temporarily, make the parent go through whatever classes, anger management, whatever the situation is. And then in a few months' time, the kid is right back at home. Now the parent is even more angry that they had to go through this whole legal process, and they may somehow blame the child for that. I am so tired of reading articles of people, men and women, who are constantly abusing their children to an inch of their life, neglecting their children, leaving their children in hot cars so they can go shopping, so they can go gambling, so they can go stripping, so they can go party, leaving their children alone, small children, babies, leaving them at home alone to fend for themselves while they go out and party. I'm so sick and tired of how I feel like this nation just really doesn't care about the kids. It really doesn't matter. I remember that case. I'm sorry. I think it was in South or North Carolina. I don't remember the guy's name, but there was this case where this man had left his baby boy, who wasn't even 2 years old yet, probably between 12 to 18 months or so. He left his baby boy in a hot car while he went to work. His excuse was he didn't know that the baby was in there. He thought that he dropped the baby off at the daycare, had no idea until he came out of work at the end of the day and the baby was dead. So when they did their investigations, they realized that this man was Googling hot car deaths. Like, how long does it take for a child to die, or for a person to die in a hot car, whatever. How hot does the car have to be? He was Googling this stuff before his child died. So he was prosecuted. And I remember there were people who came to his defense. And look, y'all, I have kids. There is no way. I just don't understand how, and I'm trying to be as open-minded as I can, but there are people who were sympathetic to this guy, who are like, oh, it's very normal. It's very common for a parent to forget that their baby's in the car seat. You know, as some people were saying that, especially when it comes to really small babies, newborns, whose car seats are facing backward, you know, you don't realize that the child is back there because you don't really see them. So you forget that the child is back there. You think that you dropped the baby off at daycare, or you forgot that the baby even came with you, or whatever. I try to be very open-minded about that, trying to see both sides of the story, and I just can't. I can't. As the struggle that you have to put your baby in the car seat, the diaper bag, the car seat, making sure that you have all the bottles, making sure that you have all their snacks, making sure that you have all their toys, putting them in the seat, buckling them. I don't know how you can forget that you just went through that. It's not like a pet, like a dog, where you can just be like, come on, Sparky, get in. And Sparky gets it in the bag and Sparky falls asleep and you forgot that Sparky was even there. You have to go through an ordeal to put a baby in the back seat. I'm just flabbergasted that people were actually sympathetic to this man who left his child in that car to die, and that he was Googling this stuff before the child died, and people were still sympathetic to him. Don't even get me started on the sex trafficking of children. That's a whole nother video, a whole nother topic. But today I just wanted to talk about Miss Andrea Webb and what she did to her daughter, and how this monster, this filth, this piece of garbage should have gotten more than 40 years in prison. She should have gotten life. How can you hit and beat a defenseless 5-year-old baby? How? What is in your heart to do that? And if you grew up in an abused home, or if this is how you were disciplined as a child, and you know what it felt like, why would you do it to your own kid? Unbelievable. Thank you for joining me. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will definitely talk to you later.